Ryan and Daniel graduated the same day. Same university, same degree, same starting salary. They shook hands at the ceremony, took photos with their families, and walked into the same job market. The only difference was a number. Ryan owed $40,000 in student loans. Daniel owed nothing, that's it, that's the whole difference. So here's the question that should be keeping you up at night. At age 45, who has more money? Most people hear this question and immediately think they know the answer. They're wrong, not slightly wrong, not close, completely fundamentally wrong. And the reason they're wrong tells you everything about how money actually works and almost nothing about what school taught you. We're going to run the full numbers, every variable, every hidden cost, every compounding effect. But first, there's something you need to understand about Ryan's $40,000 because that number is not what it appears to be. Loop 1, the number isn't the number. $40,000 sounds like a fixed problem. You owe $40,000, you pay it back. It's gone. That's how most people think about student debt. Like a parking ticket with more zeros. But $40,000 in student loans at a standard 6.5% interest rate on a 10-year repayment plan doesn't cost Ryan $40,000. It costs him $54,240. The extra $14,240 is interest money that disappears into the loan and builds no equity, creates no asset, and leaves nothing behind. But here's what makes this more complicated. That $14,240 in interest is only the first layer. There's a second layer most people never think about. Every dollar Ryan sends to his loan servicer is a dollar that isn't compounding in an investment account. And that distinction, the difference between money spent and money compounding, is where the real gap between Ryan and Daniel begins to open. But we're not ready to show you the full gap yet. Because before we get there, there's something about Daniel's situation that most people assume, and that assumption is quietly wrong. Loop 2, Daniel's invisible disadvantage. Everyone assumes Daniel is winning from day one. No debt, clean slate, full paycheck, and on the surface that's true. But here's what gets left out of that story. Daniel graduated without debt for a reason. Either his family paid for school, he attended a lower-cost institution, he worked through college, or he took a different path entirely. Each of those paths came with its own cost. If his family paid, that money came from somewhere: savings, investments, retirement accounts, capital that was redirected away from compounding toward tuition bills. If he worked through school, he traded time for debt freedom. Time that his peers spent studying, networking, interning, building the foundations of a career. If he attended a cheaper school, his degree might carry a different weight in certain job markets. None of these are disqualifying, none of them erase Daniel's advantage, but they matter. Because the college debt equation is never as simple as debt versus no debt. It's a system, and every input affects every output, so let's actually build the system. Let's run it forward 20 years and see what it produces. Because the number at the end of it is the one that changes how you see this question permanently. The setup equal TRMS. To keep this fair, we're going to give Ryan and Daniel identical starting conditions except for the debt. Both earn $52,000 a year out of college. Both get 3% annual raises. Both have access to the same investment accounts. Both are 23 years old at graduation. Both live in the same city, same cost of living. Ryan owes $40,000 at 6.5% interest on a standard 10-year repayment plan. His monthly loan payment is $454. Daniel owes nothing. He takes that same $454 every month and invests it in an S&P 500 index fund averaging 8% annually. Simple, clean, fair. Now let's run it. The first decade, where the trap sets for 10 years, Ryan sends $454 to his loan servicer every single month. $5,448 a year, $54,480 over the full decade. He pays off the loan. He's done, he's free. And at 33, Ryan finally has $0 in student debt and $0 in investments. Daniel, over that same decade, has been investing $454 every month at 8% annual returns. At the end of year 10, Daniel's investment account holds approximately $83,000. He didn't earn $83,000. He contributed $54,480. The other $28,500 came from compounding, money his money made, reinvested, making more money over and over again for 10 consecutive years. Ryan has no debt. Daniel has $83,000. That's the gap after the first decade, but here's where the story gets strange. Because Ryan isn't done losing ground yet, even though his loans are completely paid off. Loop 3, the compounding penalty. At 33, Ryan is free, clean, he starts investing. He takes that same $454 a month and puts it into the same index fund at the same 8% return. He does everything right from this point forward. So the question becomes, can he catch Daniel? He has 12 years to close an $83,000 gap before they both turn 45. Let's run it forward. From age 33 to 45, Ryan invests $454 a month at 8% annually. Over 12 years, that grows to approximately $104,000. From age 33 to 45, Daniel's existing $83,000 continues compounding at 8%, without a single new dollar added. That $83,000 alone grows to approximately $210,000. And Daniel is also still investing $454 a month during those same 12 years. That adds another $104,000. Daniel's total at 45, approximately $314,000. Ryan's total at 45, approximately $104,000. The gap at 45 isn't $40,000, it's $210,000. Ryan paid $40,000 in debt. He lost $210,000 in wealth. That is the college debt equation. And it's not close, it's not a rounding error. It's the difference between retiring comfortably and retiring anxiously. Loop 4, why this feels wrong. Here's why most people get this completely backwards. When you're 23 and signing loan documents, $40,000 feels like a number you can deal with later. $454 a month feels manageable. 10 years feels like forever, but also survivable. What your brain cannot naturally calculate is compound growth across 2 decades. Human brains are wired for linear thinking. We add, we subtract, we multiply by small numbers. Compound interest doesn't work that way. It curves, it accelerates, it produces more in year 20 than it does in years 1 through 10 combined. When Daniel's $83,000 sat compounding from age 33 to 45, it didn't grow by $8,300 a year. It grew by more every single year than the year before. That acceleration is invisible to intuition. Which is exactly why the $40,000 number feels manageable at 23 and catastrophic at 45. The loan doesn't hurt you when you're paying it. It hurts you for the 2 decades after it's gone. The counter, what changes the math? Now here's the part that most videos leave out. This equation isn't fixed. It has variables, and some of those variables can dramatically change the outcome. Income-driven repayment and loan forgiveness. If Ryan qualifies for public service loan forgiveness after 10 years, and his payments were based on income rather than a standard repayment plan, his monthly payment could drop to $150 to $200 a month, not $454. That frees up $250 a month for investing during the repayment decade. That changes the gap at 45 from $210,000 to approximately $140,000, still enormous, but meaningfully smaller. Refinancing at a lower rate. If Ryan refinances his loans at 4% instead of 6.5% early in his career, his monthly payment drops and less total interest bleeds out. The savings aren't dramatic in the short term, but compounded over 10 years, the difference in total interest paid frees up capital that can be redirected into investments. Higher income trajectory. If Ryan's degree leads to a higher income ceiling, medicine, law, engineering, finance, the debt burden shrinks relative to earning power. A doctor with $40,000 in undergrad debt earning $200,000 by 35 is in a fundamentally different position than a communications graduate earning $42,000. The debt amount is the same. The equation is completely different. This is why the college debt conversation is almost always too simple. The number alone tells you nothing. The number relative to future earning power tells you everything. The real question, so we're back to where we started. Ryan and Daniel, same degree, same salary, same starting line. One with $40,000 in debt, one with zero. At 45, the gap is $210,000, but here's the question underneath the question, the one that never gets asked. Was the debt worth it? If Daniel's debt-free path cost him career opportunities, network access, or a degree with a lower earnings ceiling, the $210,000 gap might flip entirely in Ryan's favor by 55 or 60. If Ryan's degree opened a door that no debt-free alternative could have, the math might justify every dollar of interest paid. The college debt equation doesn't have one answer. It has a different answer for every person who runs it, with their actual numbers, their actual income, their actual career trajectory. What it never has is a simple answer. And anyone selling you a simple answer, borrow freely, debt is fine, or never borrow, debt destroys wealth, is selling you something that isn't the full picture. The only number that matters is the one you calculate yourself. With your debt, your income, your investment timeline, your career ceiling, that's the only equation worth solving. Close releasing the loop. Ryan is 45. He has $104,000 invested. Daniel is 45. He has $314,000 invested. They graduated the same day, same handshake, same photo, same degree. The $40,000 difference didn't cost Ryan $40,000. It cost him a decade of compounding he will never get back. That's not an argument against college. It's not an argument against loans. It's an argument for running the numbers before you sign. Not after you graduate, not after you start paying, but before the ink dries on the first document. Because the number on the loan agreement is never the number that matters. The number that matters is what that money would have become. If this made you see something you hadn't seen before, subscribe to Professor Wealth. We run the hidden math on the financial decisions that shape your life, so you can make them with your eyes open.